The committee will now consider House Bill 2087 by Representative Van Dever. The chair lays out House Bill 2087. The chair recognizes Representative Van Dever to explain the measure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2087 is a bill that I believe we've been working on for quite some time. Actually had this bill last session and just was not able to, there are a lot of moving parts and we were not able to get it done. So we're taking another stab at it this session. I believe it's very important that we do this. Someone mentioned to me earlier that we're really only one huge data breach away from real problems in the state of Texas. And what this bill does is attempts to protect student data. And as you know, there is a huge amount of student data collected these days. And so in an effort to protect that data, I believe we owe it to our students, to the parents of those students, to protect their data. House Bill 287 provides a structure for schools and service providers to ensure that the student data security that we ensure student data security through safety standards and accountability. It will totally ban the sale or rental of student data. It targets advertising to students based on their use of educational services. It bans building a profile of students for any purpose other than educational purpose. It sharply limits disclosures of student information obtained by educational technology providers. It requires educational tech providers to maintain reasonable security practices and procedures to protect student data, and it requires deletion of student data whenever a school or school district requests that the data be delivered. This is something that has been needed for some time. I think it's very critical that we protect this data. We are collecting a huge amount of data, and we owe it to our parents, to our students, to Texas to treat this data securely.
This is an abbreviated version of a one-hour talk, Ed Reform 2.0, Personalized Learning in Orwellian Times, that I gave on January 3rd, 2017. It is available for viewing on YouTube. New means of privatizing public education are being put into place nationwide, and most people have no idea. I hope this video gives you a framework for identifying red flags in your own community. Neighborhood schools are not simply bricks and mortar structures. They are community anchors. They hold our memories. They represent the collective experience of generations of students that walk their halls. We grow up in schools. They hold our exhilaration, our fears, our accomplishments, and our failures. Schools shape the people we become in ways great and small. Public schools serve all children, regardless of the challenges they bring with them each day. Teachers and administrators step up to meet their needs in a way that is deeply human, in ways no virtual tutor ever could. Austerity and market-driven policies have resulted in tablets and Chromebooks gradually replacing face-to-face instruction in many schools. Hybrid or blended learning is pitched as high-tech, but in reality it diminishes the time children have to learn in relationship to one another, and the amount of data being collected on children through these devices has grown exponentially. Things most adults grew up having in schools, art, music, libraries, clubs, and tutoring, are now often outsourced to community partners under the guise of out-of-school time learning. Through the adoption of credit flexibility and seat time waiver laws, education is incrementally being detached from physical school buildings. You'll soon be hearing a lot about the importance of any time, any place, any path, any pace learning, and learning ecosystems. Students can hack their education and get credit for many out-of-school time ELOs or extended learning opportunities. Schools and teachers are no longer required. In 1 year, the state budget doesn't get passed, and the community partnerships are in place, and everyone has home broadband access, and the charters have extracted as much value as they could from the system. And on that day, the bricks and mortar schools will be deemed expendable and shuttered. High school students will get a Chromebook and an assigned pathway designer, and the young children will be shuttled over to the Boys and Girls Club chapter or some other nonprofit willing to step up for the kids as long as they can access ESA funds and social impact investments. Of course, once they take the funds, they too will become accountable and required to participate in the data stream, just as the schools were when they were operating. They'll pitch this new version of education as a personalized pathway, but don't be fooled. It's a slog that will force children to navigate a complex bureaucratic system, gathering skills and competencies for a set career that may not even exist a decade hence. And while they're collecting badges, they'll be monitored in excruciating detail, not only for what they know, but for what kind of people they are. Gritty or not, enthusiastic or not, leadership material or not. Community-based learning and makerspaces may sound cool, but in the end, they are drop-in centers. They don't have the capacity to truly nurture children. Schools nurture children. Pathway designers and data dashboard monitors don't change lives. Teachers do. Coaches do. Principals do. Hold on to that and be prepared to fight for it. Our schools need us. Here are a few things that you can do to help. First, recognize the danger, and then educate yourself and others. Ask questions, lots of them, and ask them publicly. Opt out of data collection. Refuse to collect this data. We all need to organize resistance to automated teaching, virtual schooling, and badging. For more information and links to resources, go to wrenchinthegears.com.
All right, next we have Steve Swanson testifying for himself against the bill. And Steve, you'll be followed by Drew Chevrolet.
Yes, Steve Swanson, 20-year volunteer in public education here in Texas and against the bill. A little bit about my background. Several decades ago, I was with an engineering department that helped start what we called CAD. Now we're making movies. So I was around when things were very simple, straightforward, and positive, using digital technology to help us. I think we should probably not even have the data to worry about collecting. There's a lot of concerns about what is happening with data, even if it's held privately. So I must register concern about data mining of our children at all, that the data even exists. And I also want to register a concern that we may be a little too intoxicated by digital technology and think it's going to be a solution. And I would like to offer that we spend more time understanding the problem we're trying to solve and the strategy to solve the problem in terms of educating our kids in doing math and English and learning history. And then watch it and monitor to make sure our solutions are in fact being solutions, as opposed to just another purchase of another machine that is promised to do something, and many times the promise can't be fulfilled. This weekend, CBS 60 Minutes revealed that it's now understood that our smartphones are becoming a habit of ours, and it's all by design by the people who are manufacturing our smartphones. I suspect that in the very near future, we're going to be hearing stories about what's behind the design of digital technology and learning that we may not want to hear because we're not keeping our minds and our eyes on what our kids are really being exposed to using digital technology. Now, I do want students to know how to use technology and do software programming to ensure we have cyber defense, okay? It's not to the exclusion of knowing how to use technology. The concern is whether technology is being used rightly in the education of our children.
All right, thank you, Mr. Swanson.
Representative Head's office, this is Jim.
Hi, Jim. This is Alice Lenahan, and I have been listening to the Texas Ed Committee hearing today. I could not make it down there to testify against HB 2087. So I just wanted to let the representative know that I was opposed to that.
Okay.
And it sounds good. It's relating to restricting the use of covered information, including student personally identifiable information by an operator or website or online service, which all that sounds great, but if you actually read the bill, it says in the except, it gives all these exceptions, and except in the name of research. I don't send my kids to school to be guinea pigs for third-party companies.
Right.
testing company. So I just wanted to let him know that there are parents out here who are very much opposed to this. You'll hear people say, well, there's FERPA protections, which is the federal protections, but actually Obama stripped the FERPA law in 2012 and did the same thing, saying that children's personally identifiable information can be collected without parental consent in the name of education research. So basically, this bill is codifying Obama's federal gutting of FERPA. So I just wanted to let him know that there are parents out here who couldn't make it down, but were definitely opposed to HB 2087.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I will definitely make note of that.